You open your eyes for the very first time inside a cold glass incubation pod on Planet Vegeta. There are no parents waiting nearby. No warm voices welcoming you into the world. Instead, you are surrounded by rows of identical pods, each containing another Saiyan child growing under the watch of medical technicians. Saiyan births are not celebrated with family gatherings or affection. They are treated as biological production for a warrior society. Almost immediately after your body finishes developing, doctors scan your power level using a small device. The number that appears on the screen quietly decides the entire course of your life. In Saiyan culture, power is everything. It determines your rank, your opportunities, and the value others will place on your existence. A high number might place you among elite warriors with prestige and influence. A lower number, like yours, means a life as a disposable soldier. You do not yet understand what that number means, but the adults around you already do. To them, you are not really a child with limitless potential. You are a statistic. A future combat unit whose usefulness has already been calculated before you even take your first steps. As you grow older, you quickly realize that childhood on Planet Vegeta is nothing like the stories told on peaceful worlds. Saiyan culture sees emotional attachment as a dangerous weakness, something that could cause hesitation in battle. Parents may exist somewhere on the planet, but they are distant figures rather than loving guardians. They rarely visit. And when they do, they show little warmth or affection. In this society, strength is respected, but tenderness is viewed almost like a flaw. Instead of family bonds, you are raised among dozens of other children who are being prepared for the same purpose. From the moment you can stand, your days are filled with harsh combat training, endurance drills, and simulated fights designed to test your survival instincts. Injuries are common, and failure is simply accepted as part of the process. If a child proves too weak to continue, no one stops to mourn. Training continues as if nothing happened. Growing up in this environment teaches you a brutal lesson very early. Your worth is measured entirely by your ability to fight. Kindness, friendship, and compassion have little place here. On Planet Vegeta, strength defines who matters, and weakness is something that disappears without anyone looking back. As you grow older, you begin to understand that Saiyan society is built on a rigid hierarchy, determined entirely by power levels. From the moment you were scanned as a child, your place in this system was already decided. At the very top stands the royal family, the elite Saiyans whose power levels exceed 10. Lin. They rule the planet and command the strongest warriors, living lives of prestige and authority that most Saiyans will never experience. Beneath them are the rare mid-class warriors, individuals with exceptional strength who are given more important missions and treated with a level of respect that ordinary Saiyans can only watch from a distance. There are very few of them in the entire race, making their status both rare and highly valued. Then there is your class, the low-class warriors. Thousands of Saiyans fall into this category. Soldiers whose power levels mark them as expendable tools of conquest. Your missions are smaller. Your living conditions are worse. And your chances of ever rising beyond this status are almost non-existent. Even if you grow stronger through training or battle, the label given to you at birth never fully disappears. In Saiyan society, your power level is not just a measurement of strength, it is your destiny. Not every Saiyan child is considered worth raising on Planet Vegeta. If a newborn's power level is too low, the decision is made quickly and without hesitation. Instead of being trained alongside the others, these infants are classified as infiltration babies. While they are still extremely young, they are placed inside small attack pods and launched into deep space toward distant planets. These worlds are chosen because their native populations are believed to be weak enough for a single Saiyan to eventually conquer. The plan is simple and brutal. The child lands on the planet, survives the crash, grows up in isolation, and slowly wipes out the local civilization as their Saiyan instincts awaken. If everything goes according to plan, the now fully grown Saiyan will signal the Saiyan forces once the planet is cleared, allowing it to be sold on the galactic market. But in reality, most infiltration babies never succeed. Their pods malfunction, their bodies fail to adapt to the environment, or the planet turns out to be far more dangerous than expected. Many die before they even understand who they are. Those who survive grow up completely alone, without guidance, identity, or family. Living and dying on foreign worlds without anyone ever remembering their name. Life on Planet Vegeta is physically demanding in ways most species could never survive. The planet's gravity is nearly 10 times stronger than that of most habitable worlds, meaning that every movement your body makes requires far more effort than it would elsewhere. Even simple actions like standing, walking, or lifting an object place enormous strain on your muscles and bones. From the moment you leave the incubation chamber, your body is forced to adapt to this relentless pressure. Over time, Saiyans develop extremely dense muscle fibers and powerful physiques capable of functioning in this harsh environment. This constant resistance effectively turns the entire planet into a natural training ground, making Saiyans far stronger when they travel to lower gravity planets. However, this strength comes with a heavy biological cost. Maintaining such powerful muscles requires an enormous amount of energy. Your metabolism burns through calories at an incredible rate, forcing you to eat constantly just to maintain your strength. Meals that would feed an entire human family for days barely satisfy your hunger, even after massive portions of food. Your body quickly demands more fuel. In many ways, survival as a Saiyan warrior is not only about combat skills, but also about feeding the relentless engine that is your own body. One of the most distinctive features of your body is the long, brown tail extending from the base of your spine. At first, it seems like just another physical trait, helping with balance and agility during combat training. But the tail holds a much greater purpose within Saiyan biology. When exposed to the reflected light of a full moon, it triggers a dramatic transformation known as the Great Ape form. In this state, your body grows into a massive, towering creature covered in fur. With enormous claws and fangs, your power level multiplies tenfold, turning even a low-class warrior like you into a destructive force capable of leveling entire cities. On paper, this sounds like an incredible advantage. In reality, it comes with a serious problem. Most low-class Saiyans cannot control themselves after transforming. Your mind becomes clouded by pure instinct, and rational thought disappears completely. Friend or foe no longer matters. In your berserk state, you attack everything around you without hesitation, including your own allies. Because of this danger, many Saiyans eventually choose to have their tails permanently removed after a transformation goes wrong. Losing the tail means giving up the potential power of the Great Ape, but it also means never risking becoming an uncontrollable monster again. When you reach around 11 years old, your training on Planet Vegeta finally turns into real combat. You and several other young warriors are assigned to your first off-world mission, sent to conquer a distant planet considered weak enough for low-class Saiyans to handle. The moment you arrive, you immediately notice how much lighter your body feels under the planet's weaker gravity. Your movements are faster, your strength feels overwhelming, and at first it seems like victory will be easy. But the battle quickly teaches you a painful lesson. Even weaker civilizations can fight back. The conflict is brutal, and during the chaos you are pushed to the edge of death. Your body is battered, your energy drained, and you eventually collapse from your injuries. When you wake up later in a recovery chamber back on Planet Vegeta, something has changed. Your power level has increased. This phenomenon is known as the Zenkai boost, a unique Saiyan trait that allows warriors to grow stronger after surviving near-fatal injuries. At first, it seems like a miraculous advantage, but it slowly changes the way Saiyans think about battle. Instead of avoiding deadly situations, many begin seeking them out, believing that the fastest path to power is through suffering and survival. As you grow into adulthood, another expectation of Saiyan life begins to appear, producing the next generation of warriors. However, relationships among Saiyans are nothing like the bonds seen in other civilizations. Love, 2. Affection, and emotional attachment are rarely part of the equation. Instead, partnerships are often formed with a practical goal in mind, creating strong offspring who might become powerful fighters in the future. Saiyan culture values strength above all else. So choosing a partner is less about compatibility or happiness and more about the potential to produce children with high power levels. Even when a child is born, the connection between parent and child is distant at best. Most Saiyan warriors spend the majority of their lives traveling across the galaxy on long conquest missions that can last months or even years. Because of this constant deployment, many children grow up barely knowing who their parents are. A father might only briefly return to Planet Vegeta before being sent away again, while siblings may never even meet each other. Family titles like brother, mother, or grandfather exist mostly as biological facts rather than meaningful relationships. In the end, Saiyan society produces generations of warriors who grow up isolated, trained to fight rather than taught to care for one another. Despite the immense pride Saiyans feel about their strength and warrior culture, a harsh truth lies beneath their reputation. The Saiyan race does not truly fight for itself. In reality, every conquest mission you undertake is carried out under the command of a far more powerful ruler, the galactic tyrant Frieza. Long before you were born, Frieza conquered Planet Vegeta and forced the Saiyans into his service. The power difference between him and even the strongest Saiyan is so overwhelming that resistance is impossible. Because of this, your entire race has become little more than an army working for his benefit. Your missions are not about glory, honor, or expanding Saiyan territory. Instead, you are sent across the galaxy to invade planets, wipe out their populations, and prepare the worlds to be sold on the galactic market. Entire civilizations, cities, cultures, and histories are erased simply so someone else can profit from the empty planet afterward. Some Saiyans justify this by convincing themselves the species they destroy are weaker and therefore unworthy. Others try not to think about it at all. But deep down, you understand the truth. You are not conquering worlds for your people. You are doing the dirty work of a master who sees your entire race as disposable. Years pass as you continue carrying out mission after mission for Frieza, conquering planets and eliminating entire civilizations because you have no other choice. Then one day, everything suddenly changes. Orders arrive across the galaxy demanding that all Saiyan warriors return to Planet Vegeta immediately for new assignments. You finish the conquest you are currently working on and board your attack pod, assuming it is just another routine command. When you arrive in orbit, you see dozens of other pods descending toward the planet, all responding to the same order. The atmosphere feels strangely tense, but no one truly understands why. As you stand among hundreds of warriors waiting for instructions, a massive glowing sphere suddenly appears in the sky above the planet. For a brief moment, it looks like a second sun. Then, the truth becomes clear. Frieza, terrified by the ancient legend of the Super Saiyan, has decided that the entire race is too dangerous to be allowed to exist. The energy attack crashes into Planet Vegeta with overwhelming force. The ground shatters. The atmosphere ignites. And within seconds, the entire world begins to tear itself apart. There is no time to escape. In less than a minute. Your planet. Your people.